Today, we're going to be talking about my Saturn return. Um, we're also going to be talking about what happened to me in New York. I think it was like over the span of 3 to 4 months. And then I left, went back to the Midwest, and then came back for the Labor Day parade. How that ushered in a lot of transformation, reflection, and who I was, who I am now, and yeah, a lot of family stuff mixed in, and what I learned from it, and and I guess what you can expect. So I'm a Saturn in the fifth house, Saturn and Pisces in the fifth house. And so what that means is that sometimes like I'll have like creative blocks in that house of like creativity, of kids, and I forgot what else, don't quote me, but I know what it means for me. And with that, like I had on a whim decided that I was just gonna stay in New York. Initially last summer, I was supposed to go to New York for my grandmother's birthday, and just stay there for a couple of days with my family. They had a big party for her in New Jersey, and we ended up staying there with a couple of cousins just for the celebration, and then we went back to Brooklyn to enjoy our summer trip. That's something that we usually do every summer, just see family and visit or whatever. Cool. I decided, since I had graduated the year before from college, I was like, I'm sick and tired of being in the Midwest. Let me just switch it up. Like, let me just like do something different. And how hard can it be? Like, I got the degree, I've had job experience, and I'm a fresh grad. Like, it shouldn't be hard to get a job. Wrong. On a whim with no plan. And I take full accountability and responsibility for my play in it. I ended up getting on the plane, like after the trip is done in New York, I ended up getting on the plane and I was like, fuck no, I want to stay here. Like, I want to stay here. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know where my money was coming from, nothing like that. Like, I had some savings. Like, I had a lot of savings, especially from the job that I was working at the time. And so I was working at I was a social worker at the time, and I just decided, well, I'm gonna quit. I miss my home and I don't want to go back. I want to do something different. So I ended up getting on that plane. Before they were going to take off, I said, Mom and Dad, I love you. I'm staying. And they just looked at me like, what the fuck? Like, are you well? I was like, I'm very much well, but I'm staying. They was like, all right. I ended up, my sister hit up my cousin, and my cousin was like, bet, you could stay with me. And a couple of my other cousins was like, yeah, you could like bounce around from our couches, like if you want to stay. But I knew that I was gonna initially go to my grandparents' home because I used to live there. But a lot of stuff happened to me there, which triggered me an insurmountable amount of emotional mess. Like, but I didn't realize that until I got there. And then to add more salt into my wounds, my grandfather having, cancer and dementia, and my grandmother taking care of him, and then my uncle having his own mental stuff going on. So yeah, I said I'm gonna stay. I ended up staying with my grandmother. It was a bit much. It was a lot to deal with, not only dealing with my own mental stuff, but their the stuff that's going on, the health issues that are going on with my grandfather, and then stuff going on with my grandmother. I was like, you know what, this is not healthy. So I ended up leaving my grandmother's house and going to my cousin's house near the Bronx. And I'm just gonna call it plain. I was treated very funny, very funny. One of my cousins that lived there expressed to my parents, like, hey, like, you know, basically, not to say that they were gonna take care of me, and you know, I just jumped in and did stuff on a whim. I totally take responsibility for that. But all I asked was for respect and kindness, and I feel like I didn't get that. I feel like I was disrespected. I feel like my intelligence was definitely like kind of taken advantage of, like trying to take my kindness for weakness, and then insult my intelligence as well on top of that. One instance that happened when I was living there is my cousin's father asking me to take out the garbage. Mind you, I just got there like a week, and I thought that was kind of odd. I mean, what were you doing before I was there? Like, I also want to mention that they made it seem like, oh, this is like your home, like, you know, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And I wasn't stepping on any toes, I promise you. They made sure to put me down in the basement, no door. I remember asking like, hey, you know, with there being like a closure or something, there was like a mini closure. You know, those old school closures that like you, I forgot what it's called, but it's like those blinds that you can open and close. They had one of those, and it was super small. Might I add, there's also a little child, my cousin's son, that lived there. And I didn't have any privacy. So I would have to change in the bathroom constantly, like to the point where her son is like calling out to me, and like I'm like, okay, I obviously can't change in this like makeshift bedroom because I don't want him to come downstairs and see me, you know? So that was another thing. Another thing was they had like a business that I guess they wanted to give me a job, something of the sort. And I was like, you know, I am open to it. They were asking me like, what would I want my salary to be? That's an instance, by the way. And I just felt like they were trying to kill two birds with one stone. Like, yes, I'm family, but also trying to make me work for less than I deserve. I remember my cousin, she was like, oh, you know, we have an Airbnb as well that needs to be cleaned. I said, okay, bet, I'll clean it, because I mean, I need the extra money. They were paying me $60 each time I cleaned it. Mind you, this is 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a huge living room with the kitchen. They wanted me to do the laundry. They wanted me to vacuum, mop, sweep, whatever the fuck, replenish things that needed to be put in the bathroom, scrub the toilet, sink, tub, make the beds a certain way, and then want to give me commentary on how to make the bed. Like, okay, I'm a person that loves to clean, and I'm a deep cleaner, but again, I just felt like certain things were like super advantageous. And then they made sure to say to me, oh, you know, you could have asked for more money. Okay. I ended up leaving, staying with that cousin's brother. That was like the worst thing that I could have done to myself, without giving too much information, I was just witnessing a lot of like relationship issues, which is real life, you know, a lot of just like things that I just didn't agree with, but because I wasn't in my space, I didn't feel safe or comfortable to speak on it. And how my cousin feels about a woman's duties. And one thing I could say is I really saw how he felt about me being in his space. And I remember trying to go to sleep and he's just blasting music. Mind you, they have a bedroom, but the bedroom was for his sister and it wasn't cleaned out. So I was asking his mom, like, hey, you know, do you mind telling my cousin, like, hey, can you clean out the bedroom or whatever? And she's like, he pays rent. I can't tell him what to do. I was like, all right. I get there and he goes, yeah, cousin. I got cut off. He was like, sorry, I need more storage. He was like, yo, sorry, cousin, for not cleaning the bedroom. Okay. So I'm sleeping in the living room on a blow-up bed. And I took it on the chin because, you know, this is not my space. I'm not looking for the royal treatment. I just need somewhere to lay my head while I grind and get a job and get on my feet. I think I was a little delusional because I was like, this is not that hard. Like, I could do it. But the New York that I remember and the New York that is today is completely different. Everything is expensive. I think I was way too over my head with expectations of what I could do and what can be done in the amount of time with the way, not even economically the world is, but the way New York is. Cool. So that happens. So all of that is happening. Like, I'm trying to sleep, playing music, asking me if I want to drink. And I end up like trying my best to stay away from alcohol. I get back to my grandma's house because I'm like, I'm not staying there. This is insane. Like, the things that I'm experiencing, I end up getting sick. So I get sick, within these time frames, I'm also like networking. I'm going to parties. I'm going to events. I'm trying to get a job. Like, I'm doing all the things. So then I end up, what did I end up doing? I end up going to a party and I end up getting sick. Now, this place, I forgot the name of the place, but it's like a wide open space and they have like different events going on or whatever. And I get COVID. I not only get COVID, I also was taking like tinctures that have like a little bit of alcohol in it. So I'm like, I thought I was keeping my immune system up while being there. But on top of that, I'm not like eating, I won't say well, I will say enough, because I'm like on the go and like everything is not in one spot. You got to go to everything. And again, just being on the go, trying to beat time. And I ended up in the hospital for about a week or two. Yeah. Excuse me. And so my liver levels, ACL levels were super high. And the cousin that I believe that was like acting weird, she was able to guide me through, which I'm thankful for. She was able to guide me through my process and talk to my doctor because she is in the medical field. Cool. Now, within all these situations, I'm dealing with different personalities in my family. And I feel like they may have not showed up for me the way I needed, but it was in a way that showed me that I had no business relying on them or expecting them to treat me with common courtesy. I thought kindness was free and I thought respect was free. And I feel like there were more times than I can count that they were like taking advantage of me, for sure. I only talk to a few now, but the ones that were treating me funny in that situation, it really put me in go mode and reflection mode. So I get sick. I finally get out of the hospital, and the cousin that's in the medical field, I ask her, hey, I need money for a hotel. There's no way I could stay at my grandmother's house, and there's no way I could stay at your son's house, and there's no way I could stay at your house because it's far from everything. Brooklyn and where you live is far. So she's going back and forth with me and stuff like that, and I get the money from her, and I'm able to sit up in a hotel. My parents give me half, she gives me half, or whatever the fuck, how it went. Yeah, that's how it went. And I'm doing my reflection. I'm getting better, especially because I'm just getting off of COVID, so I can't be around people. So I needed to get the hotel, and just for my mental health. And I didn't like the fact that she had asked me like, oh, do you want to go to the hotel for your mental health? And it seemed like in the conversation, I would have to say that because she wouldn't give me the fucking money. Like, why do I have to say what is, like, not what it's for, but like, why are you trying to make me say something that's not true? Like, I'm just getting off of being sick. And it's like, she wanted me to say that I had a mental breakdown, which I didn't. I just was sick. Like, that's why. And the circumstances didn't allow me to stay in certain spaces, especially not with the way people were acting. So I took a note of that. Yeah, so after that, I just started to notice like weird behaviors and weird treatments from some of my family members while I was in New York. And I was like, one thing I learned is to obviously have a plan and prepare and not do things on a whim, but don't think anybody is going to be kind to you just because you're family. Don't think somebody is going to, they mean what they say. I always watch actions now. I don't care what you say now. Like, what you do means more to me than what you say 10 times over. And while in New York, not only me getting sick, trigger warning, 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 trigger warning. I wasn't even going to share this, but I think the full picture needs to be seen. On top of that, being unmedicated, which I'm medicated now for my depression, I got told not to be a maid of honor because I couldn't show up for my friend or fly back to the Midwest at the time. And we had a full-on argument through text. And that friend was just being like super just unbearable to the point where it's like, I always see your side, but I feel like you're not hearing me. And you're always agreeable, but the moment that I'm not doing what you want me to do, now I'm not a friend. But I told you I have mental health stuff going on. On top of that, I am sexually assaulted. Trigger warning, I was sexually assaulted at a party. Mind you, I'm not heavy drunk. I think I had 1 drink, 2 drinks. I was in shock. The second time at the Labor Day parade, I was sexually assaulted. Some man, I don't know, both of them, I don't know them. The second one exposed himself to me, and I ended up filing a police report. And in the midst of all of this going on, I'm going on dates. Well, before that, I was going on dates. I was going to parties. I was networking. I was doing this, doing that. And I really afterwards thought that I could stay in New York and get myself together when I had to realize that this specific place is where all of my trauma took place. And I put myself back in the place that caused me trauma, which re-triggered me, like the actual living space. And it helped me to look within myself and be like, you've outgrown this place. You don't need to be here anymore. And then when I started looking into astrology, incense, by the way, that is on my, I think my Neptune line and some other line. I don't remember. I'll make a video on that as well. But when it's on that line in astrocartography, it's where you're gonna go through so much emotional shit that I was like, oh, that it makes sense. It makes sense now. So I say all that to say is that if I ever go back to New York, it would probably be for a couple of days, not a week, not a month. And I was able to look myself in the mirror and be like, girl, like, routines are your friends. Planning is your friend. And get your shit together. Get your shit together. You know, it brought me to figure out what I really wanted in friendships and relationships, and who I don't need to speak to. Just because we are relatives doesn't mean I owe you anything. I have to speak to you. And repeated disrespect is an offense. Now you're an offender. Now you're offending me, and now you're offending me, and now I don't have to continue to make nice. Like right now, my focus is my inner being and my outer being. I'm focusing inward and hoping that it shows outside. And what I understood from that situation is I would never ever do what people did to me. And it also helped me to be more discerning. It helped me to listen and look with my eyes and see what people are really meaning and try to say to me. So yeah, that's my Saturn return, New York stuff. And I don't know, I might make a part 2. Might just leave it here. I don't think there's anything else I left out. Yeah, but have y'all went through your Saturn return yet? How was it? Okay, I'm like at the tail end of it because now I'm 30. It's from 27 to 30, and then your next one is at 56, and then the third one is at 80. So yeah, New York was that girl. It really showed out. Like she really showed out. She showed out. She showed me a lot about myself, about other people, about just, I always knew not to rely on people, but that one was like a smack in the head. Like, wake up, wake the fuck up. Everything is not what it seems. Everything is not how it looks. And yeah, again, not mad at them, but distance is a must. A boundary is a must. Blocking is a must. Space is a must. And yeah, if you ever been through something similar, let me know down in the comments. I'm just trying to move on. And I think that I've received a lot of clarity, a lot of messages from the divine, letting me know that I made the right decision. And yeah, and being medicated now as someone who has depression has done insurmountable amounts of change in my life.